It was daytime, and several hours later, Lu Sheng landed and all the star nobles surrounded him to greet him with respect. Our boy was in shock and his eyes widened in surprise, making him feel nervous as he recognized this scene. Enthusiastically, the star nobles began to surround Lu Sheng. Everyone was in awe. Luo Feng, from the Black Dragon Mountain family of the White Mist Starfield, paid his respects to His Excellency, the Undying Earl. Lu Sheng remained silent, not knowing what to do. With a kind smile, the brown-haired man introduced himself as a member of the White Sparrow Flower family. The red-haired noble placed a hand on his chest and with a pleasant expression, introduced himself as being from the Gardener Starry Sky Demon Lion family. Seeing so many powerful nobles, the only thing Lu Sheng could do was show a nervous smile and greet everyone. His eyes filled with confusion and curiosity, wondering how many people they had mobilized and if they had perhaps sent an entire fleet of star destroyers. The image of the crying fat guide came to his mind. Lu Sheng guessed that the guide never imagined, not even in his wildest dreams, that secretly taking a couple of sips of blood would make him the target of dozens of cannons at once. With a grateful gaze, Lu Sheng extended his hand and thanked everyone for coming from so far away to help his home world. Luo Feng approached Lu Sheng, placed his hand on his chest, and bowed his head before him as a sign of respect. He stated that it was the immortal count who honored them, explaining that since he was considered one of their own in the White Mist sector, this trivial matter was not worthy of mention. Lu Sheng turned towards him and silently observed him with a smile. Luo Feng crossed his arms and began to contemplate the powerful immortal count. The red-haired woman also appeared to greet Lu Sheng, and with a kind smile, she mentioned that she agreed with Count Luo Feng. Furthermore, she added that a federal parasite who abused power for personal gain and deceived superiors and subordinates alike deserved to be executed by everyone. She placed a hand on her chest and with a determined expression, added that it wasn't even necessary to mention that he had foolishly provoked the immortal Count's home world. She stated that, even if he had harmed any other planet, it would have been their duty to act anyway. A smile spread across our boy's face, and he invited them to stay a little longer, assuring them that he would thank them properly for their help. Luo Feng placed a hand on his chest, bowed his head before Lu Sheng, and explained that the timing was perfect. The 10 billion vials of gene optimization fluid he had ordered for the immortal Count's home world would still take some time to arrive, so he would brazenly stay for a few more days. He stated that he would only feel at ease once the merchandise arrived, and he had confirmed that everything was in order. Upon hearing this, Lu Sheng's eyes filled with surprise and confusion, making him feel somewhat curious. The elf-eared woman's eyes began to shine with seriousness as she pictured several powerful warriors. She explained that this was a small gift from all of them. She supposed it wouldn't be long before he was granted a fiefdom among the stars, and his people from his home world could serve as the first group of residents and help govern other territories in the future. The problem was that they were a bit weak in terms of strength. For this reason, they had ordered a large quantity of gene optimization serum. She clarified that it was nothing special, but it could raise the maximum potential of common people with no martial foundation to a theoretical level 7. Lu Sheng sank into his thoughts, while on the other side, Zheng Yu clenched her fist and her eyes widened in surprise. She couldn't believe that everyone could reach level 7. With a confident smile, Luo Feng stepped forward and affirmed that it was so. He explained that with the addition of his level 12 elixir that nourished the land, it wouldn't be long before Blue Star fully entered an era where everyone would be like a dragon. The eyes of all the martial saints and warriors of the blue planet began to shine with joy and excitement, understanding that this meant they would ascend to the top in a single step, enjoying the glory of the war god. Lu Sheng observed them in silence, feeling somewhat bewildered. He didn't expect that all the common people could directly reach level 7. This was the weight that came with the term advanced civilization. Then, a proud smile formed on his face. This really wasn't bad at all. His family's lifespan could also be extended by several hundred years. He had planned to slowly terraform the blue planet, but now this had been completed in a single step. With a confident smile, one of the nobles began to look at Lu Sheng and mentioned that, assuming the immortal Earl would want to take his people from his home world with him in the future once he established his territory, he would need to make preparations. For this reason, he would gift the immortal Earl 1,000 Explorer-class ships. Upon hearing this, everyone's attention fixed on the noble, leaving them somewhat confused. Lu Sheng's eyes widened in surprise. He couldn't believe what he had just heard. Not long after, an excited smile appeared on his face. He recognized this as another great gift. Although they were only upper mid-range ships, they weren't something ordinary people could buy, and they were handing him 1,000 at once. Then he thanked the noble. Seeing this, the brown-haired fat noble raised his hands with a nervous expression and declared that he would also gift the undying Earl's homeworld 10 squadrons of elite mithril guards to protect them from star pirates. The other nobles looked somewhat confused. The more powerful and wealthy nobles decided not to sit idly by. The long-haired man clenched his fists and with a furious expression declared that he would send 1,000,000 sets of combat suits. All the nobles decided to gift Lu Sheng something, and our boy felt somewhat confused, not knowing what to say. Everyone was incredibly enthusiastic, frantically trying to forge connections from all angles, which made Lu Sheng feel a little uncomfortable. With a forced smile, Lu Sheng began to wave his hands, asking them to calm down, as their enthusiasm was excessive and they should spend rationally. Not long after, space was filled with starships, as hundreds of billions, even trillions in rare resources, were continuously sent to Blue Planet. In the blink of an eye, the nobles filled the place with gold coins and gifts, an uncountable amount of resources and presents. Lu Sheng began to scratch his head while waving his other hand, with a nervous expression, feeling that everyone was being too kind. His eyes began to shine with joy, a smile appearing on his face. Internally, he encouraged them to continue. Ideally, they should arm and empower everyone on Blue Planet and raise their cultivation to the 9th level of Martial Saint. This way, he could feel much more at ease even when he wasn't on the planet. After all, he could return the favor 100 or 1,000 times in the future, but he had never had the time to develop Blue Planet. This time, they had really done him a huge favor. As the nobles continued to offer gifts to Lu Sheng, a long-haired man was watching in silence not far away. It was none other than Lu Sheng's former master. His eyes were filled with envy, and all he could do was let out a sigh. Zheng Yu approached him and with a curious look asked, "Has the broken blade been reforged?" Hearing her voice, the Martial Saint's attention fixed on her, snapping him out of his trance. Closing his eyes, he replied that it had been reforged a long time ago and that now, finally, it was completely finished. Zheng Yu placed a hand on her waist and with a serene expression asked him why he was facing Lu Sheng for no reason. She explained that losing once to someone like him should be a source of pride, as from now on, thanks to Lu Sheng, their Blue Planet would truly rise with the tide. Several days later, a luxury yacht was sailing on the waters of the Ninghai Sea. On the boat, someone was lying in a hammock, enjoying a beautiful day. The sky was filled with spaceships. It was none other than Lu Sheng. He took off his glasses, and his attention fixed on the ships as he saw another wave arrive. Even after Luo Feng and the others had left, a large crowd kept coming. Fortunately, Zheng Yue and the others went to receive them, or he would have gone crazy. Also on the luxury yacht was his wife, Snowy, who was now wearing a sexy swimsuit. With a smile, she adjusted a lock of her hair and mentioned that this only showed how popular he was. Lu Sheng stood up, walked over to her, and began to look into her eyes, commenting that it was all social niceties. The same old story even among the stars. Snowy crossed her arms and began to ponder in silence. Lu Sheng caressed his wife's chin. His eyes began to shine with love as he stroked her face, warning her that in a moment he would be heading deep into the sea. He told her that if anything strange happened, she shouldn't worry about him and should get out of there as fast as possible. Snowy contemplated Lu Sheng in silence. Without wasting any more time, Lu Sheng gave her a kiss. Snowy hugged our boy, confirming that she understood and asking him to be careful with everything. While Snowy watched in silence, Lu Sheng leaped from the yacht and decided it was time to explore the sea. As his body was surrounded by martial energy, Lu Sheng began to dive towards the bottom of the sea with a confident gaze. He knew that nothing had changed. Blue Star would still be destroyed within 8 years, and although they no longer needed to worry about the planet's safety, as they could simply move. His eyes began to shine with serenity, but he was still intensely curious about what exactly the existence was that could completely annihilate Blue Star. Lu Sheng didn't lower his guard and began to dive rapidly. This was the place where the system's calculation had failed. During the battle with the extreme Martial Saint, he had been gravely injured, falling into the abyssal sea caverns, where he encountered that indescribable being. A mutant, worm-like beast with sharp teeth appeared, but without much effort, Lu Sheng sliced it in half, pushing the insignificant creature out of his path so it wouldn't bother him. The demonic eye Lu Sheng held in his hand activated and began to glow with malice, capturing his attention. He had almost forgotten about this little gadget. The aberrant cells seemed to have a special reaction to that being, which meant he was close. He decided there was no time to waste and using all his power, began to descend at full speed toward that place. Several minutes later, he reached the depths of the sea and landed softly on the bottom, With a serious gaze, Lu Sheng began to carefully observe the area, knowing that this must be the spot. The demonic eye began to glow with even more intensity, and tentacles started to emerge from our boy's hand. Noticing this, Lu Sheng couldn't help but feel somewhat confused, as he sensed that something was wrong. The surroundings had suddenly fallen silent, while the mutated cells in his hand began to writhe frantically, as if trying to escape his body. He didn't lower his guard and became serious, as he felt that something was missing. Suddenly, he remembered the mental fluctuations. Before, whenever he was in the deep sea, there were seductive and deceptive mental waves luring him in, but now he couldn't feel them at all. While Lu Sheng was lost in thought, someone began to laugh loudly. Hearing this, Lu Sheng's eyes widened in surprise and fear. Not long after, a giant eye appeared and began to stare intently at Lu Sheng. Then something started to emerge from the ground, causing the ground to tremble, and the being declared that it had finally found him again. Lu Sheng's attention was fixed on it and his eyes widened in surprise. A giant demonic hand with sharp claws emerged from the seabed. Lu Sheng knew it was time to fight and used his power, causing golden martial energy to begin surging from his body. Thanks for watching Vivify Recaps. If you enjoyed it, hit like, subscribe, and drop your next recap request in the comments. See you in the next one.